If this image reminds you of Nike, Apple, and these ones of Chanel, then you've just experienced the magic of branding. In particular, semiotic branding, which is the strategic use of symbols, colors, and styles. This has become the secret weapon behind how the biggest brands and the most influential people in the world shape culture, influence emotions, and build legacies. And at this year's 2025 Grammys, the world's most influential music superstars use the power of brand strategy to control the conversation, own their image, and make history. Personal branding tools that blend personal narratives with visual elements has been a cornerstone for many music artists who've intentionally created distinct identities to enhance their brand presence. And in this video, I'm going to focus on brand evolution. And I'll break it all down how icons like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Lady Gaga have used the power of semiotics and visual storytelling to stay ahead of the game. If you're a coach, a course creator, a content creator, an influencer, an online entrepreneur, get ready to take notes, because these strategies apply directly to your brand, even if you didn't walk the red carpet at this year's Grammys. Let's dive in. Let's start with Queen Bee. Beyonce is the ultimate master of brand evolution. With Cowboy Carter, she didn't just sing country, she embodied it. Think about the visuals: cowboy hats, studded denim, classic Americana aesthetics. Every single detail was intentional. And guess what? It paid off. Not only did she finally win Album of the Year at the 2025 Grammys, but she also cracked open a genre that hasn't always been inclusive. That's how you pivot without losing authenticity. So here's a branding tip. If you're making a shift in your brand, don't just change your offer. Own the space. Make it feel like an extension of you. And authenticity is key here. So that's why I created my visual aesthetic Canva templates, which you can get in the link below. Now let's talk about an underrated branding tool, your signature style. Now, we all know that Beyonce has always been a trendsetter, but her Cowboy Carter era marked a striking hair transformation, from her golden curls to now rocking the lightest platinum blonde we've ever seen her in. Beyonce's switch to platinum blonde wasn't just a style choice, it was a reinvention move, a visual cue that signaled a new chapter in her artistry. And according to her longtime colorist, Rita Hazen, this change was not just for aesthetic appeal, but also testament to the strength of Beyonce's hair thanks to her sacred hair care line. What a power move. But Beyonce is not the only one who could teach a masterclass in versatility and personal branding. Let's look at Ariana Grande's high ponytail as an example. Now, although she skipped this year's Grammys, we all remember her sleek, sky-high, instantly recognizable ponytail that became her signature style. This was not just a hairstyle, it's her branding asset. And remember Sia's black and white bob? By covering her face, she created a faceless brand which was mysterious yet bold and reinforced her brand identity. By creatively using her hair as a veil, Sia intentionally kept the focus on her music rather than her face. And of course, we have the late Amy Winehouse's Beehive. Amy's look wasn't just fashion, it tied back to the 60s soul sound that inspired her music. Amy's gravity-defying beehive and winged eyeliner weren't just a fashion statement, they became a symbol of her raw, unfiltered artistry. Each of these women used a single hairstyle as a powerful branding tool, making them instantly recognizable. Now, here's a branding tip. If you're a personal brand, think about creating your own signature look. It could be your hair, your fashion choices, your makeup, or even your color palette. Just something that makes you stand out for being you. Now, this all falls under aesthetic branding, intentional use of visual elements like fashion, makeup, and hair to reinforce your brand message. Your look should make you instantly recognizable. And talking about being instantly recognizable, remember Billie Eilish's neon green roots? Billie's neon green roots became so iconic, she couldn't step outside without being instantly recognized. She used this creative green roots as a symbol, and later she had to strip it back as a way to regain her sense of self beyond the powerful persona she created, just to feel free from the visual expectations. Now, that's the power of brand identity, when your look becomes bigger than you. So her shift to platinum blonde was a strategic debranding, a way to regain her sense of self beyond the persona she had famously created. And now she's back to a darker aesthetic, but this time it's on her terms. This is a perfect example of how branding can become so strong that it eventually requires a recalibration. Now let's talk about Taylor Swift's Red. Taylor understands branding down to a science. That red gown at the Grammys, that wasn't just fashion. It was symbolic branding tying into her red era and her love story with Travis Kelce. Her Grammys Chiefs red dress was more than just fashion. It was a public declaration of love. It was pure storytelling about her unwavering loyalty. And with her highly publicized romance with the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, red has taken on an entirely new cultural meaning. It's the color of love, of power, and of a woman fully in control of her narrative. She doesn't just wear red, she owns it. It's why her Eras tour visuals, album aesthetics, and even red carpet looks always tie back to it. Meanwhile, Beyonce's gold motif is about immortality, luxury, and divine status. It's no accident. It's decades of visual consistency that built her iconic brand. Now, who comes to mind when you see this? Yes, it's Charlie XCX Brat Green. Now, this wasn't just a color. It was a movement. The neon green shade of Brat wasn't limited to her album cover. It infiltrated social media, streetwear, fan pages, and even meme culture. It turned into a visual shorthand for her rebellious, anti-mainstream energy. That's the genius of color branding. And when done right, it creates cultural ripple effects. And when a color becomes synonymous with your brand, you've mastered color psychology. So always remember that color is powerful. It's psychological, cultural, and deeply emotional. Now, here's a branding tip. If you're wanting to build a potent and impactful personal brand, pick a brand color that represents your core message and use it everywhere. Consistency equals recognition. So that's why I created Canva templates, which you can get in the link in the description. Okay. Let's dive into reinvention, because if you're not evolving, you're falling behind. And more importantly, let's talk about sensory branding. Now, Sabrina Carpenter's evolution has been undeniable. Sabrina Carpenter didn't just win the night, she marketed an entire lifestyle. She's no longer just a Disney alumni. From Disney actress to full-fledged pop princess, Sabrina didn't just grow, she curated her brand evolution. But her reinvention into a chart-topping pop icon wasn't overnight. She strategically evolved from girl next door to global fashion icon, blending sultry Y2K aesthetics with playful, confident lyrics. Her ability to shift her image while maintaining her core identity is why she's skyrocketing in mainstream music today. She's now in high fashion campaigns, beauty partnerships, and even acting. This is embodied branding, where your presence, style, and aura become a strategic part of your brand experience. Sabrina has successfully positioned herself as a multifaceted brand, transitioning from music to beauty, becoming a fashion icon. Her espresso era isn't just a song, it's a multi-sensory brand experience. She released an espresso-scented fragrance, a custom coffee drink, and even a Dunkin' Donuts collab. This is sensory branding at its finest. People aren't just listening to Sabrina, they're smelling, tasting, and experiencing her music in everyday life. And her baby blue color palette, it's a soft, nostalgic contrast to her playful, flirty pop persona, a perfect balance between retro and fresh. Her brand identity is built around playfulness and femininity, and she taps into sensory branding through her use of pastel aesthetics, hyper feminine styling, and catchy feel-good hooks. She's not just making music, she's curating an entire experience for her fans. Now let's move on to Lady Gaga. Gaga doesn't just change, she transforms. From the meat dress to her classic A Star is Born elegance, she has used fashion as a shock tactic to stay in conversations. Her ability to shape-shift while keeping her theatrical essence intact makes her the ultimate case study in the art of reinvention, communicating through visuals, symbols, and iconic moments. From the Fame to Joanne to Chromatica, every era is a complete sensory experience, and every time Lady Gaga masters sensory branding, where each era had a distinct look, feel, and even soundscape. But beyond music, Gaga has expanded her brand into beauty, high fashion campaigns, Hollywood films, and even Vegas residencies. Her ability to immerse her audience in a world, whether through visuals, music, or product experiences, is why she remains timeless. Now, your brand shouldn't just be seen, it should be felt. Use color, texture, sound, and even scent to create a fully immersive experience for your audience. Reinvention is great, but it should feel organic. So here's a branding tip for you. Use sensory branding to make your evolution immersive. The more people feel your brand, the stronger their connection to you. Now, you can do the same thing by creating your visual brand identity. And you can start with my very special curated social media Canva templates, which you can take a look in the link in the description below. So there you have it. That's the power of personal branding. Personal branding isn't just about looks. It's about creating a strong, immersive identity that fans emotionally invest in and recognize instantly. It's not just about fonts or logos, it's about meaning. It's about what people feel when they see you and when they experience you. When you understand personal branding, you don't just build a brand, you become unforgettable. Master branding and you'll build a brand that's not just seen, but felt. So that's why I created visually aesthetic Canva templates, which you can grab in the link in the description. And you can get started right now. Every branding element, from fonts to fragrances, is designed to resonate with fans on a subconscious level, making artists unforgettable. And you can do the same thing with your brand. Ultimately, these superstars aren't just selling their music, they're selling their magic. They're selling a whole vibe, turning their brand into a lifestyle that fans want to adopt. So how do you use personal brand strategies to stand out? Here are 5 ways coaches, course creators, content creators, influencers, and online entrepreneurs can use right now. Number 1, develop a signature look. Your physical look, your logo, or even a color scheme should be consistent. Whether it's a signature color, hairstyle, makeup, or even glasses, find something visually distinctive that become part of your brand identity. Number 2, leverage color psychology. Just like Taylor Swift uses red for passion, choose colors that evoke emotion and make your brand memorable. Pick a color that represents your brand and use it everywhere. Number 3 is strategic reinvention. Change is great. Just make sure it feels like an extension, not a random shift. Keep evolving while maintaining core brand values, just like Beyonce or Lady Gaga. Don't be afraid to refresh your image. Number 4 is symbolism in storytelling. Infuse your brand with deeper meaning, whether it's a personal mantra, a recurring theme, or visual elements that tells your story. Make it iconic and personal. Every design choice should reinforce your message. And lastly, number 5 is tap into sensory branding. Make your brand a multi-sensory experience, whether it's color, sound, texture, and even taste and scent all matter. So from colors and symbols to scent, sound, and style, the world's most powerful artists aren't just making music, they're creating entire identities. Every Grammy-winning icon has mastered semiotic branding, whether it's Beyonce's golden goddess era, Gaga's high drama visuals, or Sabrina Carpenter turning a song into a full-on lifestyle. And that's the difference between just making music and making history. If you made it this far, thank you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can get more on personal branding. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and share with your business bestie and drop a comment below. So branding is about using your personal style, colors, visual cues to create a visual aesthetic that's not only recognizable, but also allow your audience to feel something. If you want to master personal branding like a superstar, I have the perfect Canva social media templates for you. It's in the link in the description. Thanks for watching.